I kind of grew up in a very musical family. My brother was always playing piano and different instruments, and I remember going on long trips. There was one song that would play by Janet Jackson called The Velvet Rope, and towards the end of the song, this crazy instrument just came out of nowhere, and it was like a cross between electric guitar and violin and just some other unearthly instrument. And basically that was the first time I heard the electric violin, and I heard it and I fell in love with it, and I knew I had to play it or find out what that was. And that was the beginning of it all. My name is Meeq. I am an electric violinist, composer, and visual artist. I was encouraged by my brother to play the violin at 16. It was fairly late. Most people start at a very young age. I went into it with a lot of passion. I practiced for like 5 hours a day trying to catch up, to do my best to get to where I needed to be. My brother kind of took the reins and he was like, you gotta find a teacher, you gotta do this. And he found me this incredible woman teacher, violinist by the name of Ellie Kang, who lived downtown. And so I had a lesson with her, and to this day, she's been my teacher, she's been my mentor. She saw potential in me when there really wasn't that much to see, but she saw a spark of potential and she invested in me when I couldn't even afford my, my real violin, which cost like $3,000. And she actually lended me the money and said, hey, you can pay me back whenever you get a chance. And that was such a big moment for me because it showed me hospitality, it showed me love, and it showed me that, that there was somebody who believed in me, in my art. For my high school graduation, my father bought me my first black Fender electric violin. That was just an awesome moment, walking out of the store with it. I was enthralled. It was just amazing. And here I am, about to turn 28, finally putting out my first project as an electric violinist. It's been an incredible journey, and I've just learned so much along the way about, not just even about music, but just about myself, about what it takes to really master, or at least be on the verge of mastering something. Inherent Rebirth EP kind of came about as an accident. I just started, I wanted to learn how to produce because I was training in the violin and electric violin and playing in bands, my brother's band and other bands. I wanted to start producing and composing. And so it just started by accident with one song, which happened to be Artois. One song came after the other, and I finally realized that I might be onto something. I've been really inspired by artists like 9 Inch Nails, Bjork, Smashing Pumpkins, who kind of meld these worlds together in terms of like electronic, industrial sounds, strings, piano, and that's something that I felt was missing. I wanted to bring those worlds together. I wanted to bring heavy beats, really interesting noises that maybe you won't pick up the first time, but upon repeated listenings, you'll hear that. For me, that's the pinnacle of music for me, and so that's what I'm trying to create. The Inherent Rebirth EP is a concept record. Even though it's an EP, it's a short one, but I wanted to make sure that there was some type of substance behind whatever I put out, especially this EP, especially this first project. An EP is basically like a short album, I guess you can say. Instead of a full length, it's sort of an opportunity to show what your music is about. So there's a story being told in the record, and each song, I would say, is almost like a chapter in that story or in that novel, if you want to even put it that way. And I thought, how cool would it be if each song had its own video to kind of elaborate on the story being told at hand. And so that's what I set out to do. Instead of making one video, which people might get tired of, I wanted to create a variety within it. There's a big spiritual meaning behind the entire record. Inherent Rebirth, what does it mean? It means something different to everybody. For me, it was basically me coming of age, me becoming a better version of myself in terms of a person, violinist, musician. And then in terms of the whole record, it's basically, I wanted to tell the story from the moment Adam and Eve were created almost, to the moment they were given a new body, and basically they were reborn.
Ready, and go!
The first song is called The Cry. I wanted to capture the moment where God was ripped away from Adam and Eve, his baby basically. And I thought, how powerful would it be just to capture that moment with the electric violin. And so that's what I set out to do. In the video, you'll basically see me almost representing God, and Jillian, the incredible actress, she's playing the role of Adam and Eve, or specifically Eve. At first, we're madly in love and discovering one another, and little by little, the drama and the music builds up, and you can see something is going wrong, and it's being represented almost in the rose as it's decaying. Little by little, as the rose decays, she takes a bite of the fruit, and there's now a separation between her and I, almost representing sin. And then after that, you know, the music builds up, there's a lot of drama, and I just, as God, can't take it anymore, and I use my electric violin to display my love for her. And you can see that now it's just me, there's no more wall. And with the last shot, you take a look into my eyes, and hopefully you can see that I'm coming for you. I want to save you. I want to be reconciled. And so that's the cry. Artois. So now we're moving further along in the story. This song in particular is almost like a flashback. So now we've seen God and Adam and Eve torn away from each other. And what I thought would be cool is if we took a flashback to the moment where God, or the Trinity specifically, created Adam and Eve. I was really fascinated. I've always been fascinated with the Trinity and the God, the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, and how it all works together. And there's still so much I don't understand, but what I do, I find so cool. I remember being told by one of my teachers in a class where he said that the moment that God, or the Trinity, decided to make man, it was almost like a man and a woman coming together and deciding to have a baby. And it was a beautiful process. And so I wanted to use the term ménage à trois and kind of turn it on its head. And you know, everybody has this negative connotation with it. I thought it would be cool just to use it in the form of the Trinity, in association with the Trinity. And in the video, you'll see the Trinity being represented through hands and arms. It's ambiguous enough where I think everybody can maybe relate to it. Or if you see an embrace of two hands, it's sort of like a very common human experience where everybody, you know, has that moment where they hold their first love's hand, or their father or mother. And so I feel like that resonates. And I think it has resonated, thankfully, when people have watched the video. And I thought paint would be really cool just because I love colors. And I thought it would be so badass just to have, you know, these hands playing in paint, all represented by a different color. And little by little, the hands start to play, they start to intertwine, almost representing a couple making love. And as the music builds up, we cut to now Meeq in the sand, waking up with paint, different color, the colors that were represented in the hands now all over his body, all over his face, almost representing almost like a fingerprint, but all these handprints. And now Meeq, or man, has been created. And then I recognize the violin, I look into it, and I sort of recognize my purpose, what I was put on earth for, which I think everybody can relate to, whatever your passion is, whether it be art, music, teaching, everybody has a passion. We were put here for a reason.
Hey Meeq, how do you stay warm during a video on the beach at 39 degrees, which means the wind factor brings it down to 21? How do you stay warm?
I'll show you. I forget how cold it was, but I just know that my nipples were there. I mean, we were freezing our asses off, but it was just a fantastic experience, just because, I mean, we all came together, we were able to figure out the shots, we got some beautiful shots in there, things that I wouldn't trade for the world. Twisted Little Rainbows. This was a really fun song. It's a really personal song for me. In regards to the storyline, we're sort of now looking at man here on earth. So it's sort of like everybody's struggle in terms of finding who they are as a person, whether it be, you know, whatever questions you may have about faith, about sexuality, about coming to terms with just who you are. And so this particular song, Twisted Little Rainbows, it's a pretty direct concept. I love the term Twisted Little Rainbows. When I was crafting the song, it came to me, and I was thinking that how cool would it be if, because it's such a song about struggle, and even when you listen to the song, you'll see it's very fragmented, there's different sections, it's very discombobulated, sort of to represent that struggle. I thought how cool would it be if we had these rainbows come to life in the form of ribbons and sort of tugging away at Meeq, or, you know, me representing man. And so that's what you see in the video. You see me being twisted, contorted, not sure if I'm controlling the ribbons are controlling me. Because I'm a visual artist, I've always been obsessed with bold color. And so with Twisted Little Rainbows, especially because of the term, just the name in itself, I really wanted to go extreme color. And because it's such a mechanical song, I thought how cool would it be with each shot, it would transform into a different color, going from bright blue to yellow to pink, to really stimulate the viewer's eye. And I think between me and the incredible director Daphne Shimon, we accomplished that, and we both have been really happy with the end result. In the eye of his eclipse. After man has been struggling and trying to figure out his place on earth, now we're coming to the inevitable experience of death. And so In the Eye of His Eclipse is a song that I wrote for my dear friend Jose Martinez, who passed away a couple of years ago, kind of out of the blue. And it was a traumatic moment for me. It was a traumatic moment for his family, obviously. And just for me personally, I felt like it was a moment where I really became I fell into the role of an artist, especially because it was a song that I hadn't thought of. It just came to me. I had to make it. It was an expression of art that I just had to get out. In terms of the video, what I wanted to do was to capture the moment of death and also segue into the next video, which will be about rebirth. So what we have is Meeq sort of standing in this abandoned, beautiful, graffitied train tracks, and walking towards a violin, an acoustic violin, lighting a match, striking a match, and as the music really builds, he sets the acoustic violin on fire, and it's sort of representing out with the old, in with the new. And at the end, you'll see the acoustic violin replaced with an electric violin, sort of showing there's going to be a rebirth. It's not the end of the world. You know, those who have passed away, we're going to meet them again. We're going to see them again. Even though it's dark, hopefully there's a bit of hope at the end of that video. Melioratus, now we're after death, and we're in a moment where the body's being reborn, where there's this transformation. And you're going to see that in the form of a cocoon, which has been sort of a staple throughout this entire EP. You'll see it in the cover art, you've seen it in the trailer, and now we're really bringing it to the forefront, where I'm in this cocoon. It's a performance video also, which is really cool. You actually get to see me perform. So for all the people who have talked about, where's the video? Here's the video. That's the full video, where you see my performance, where you see the full song. It's a fairly straightforward concept where it's just me in the cocoon, finally breaking out, finally becoming this new and improved version. And so that's it. This is finally the rebirth moment. This is finally me breaking out of my shell. I grew up as an artist. Art for me came way before music. It plays a big role in whatever I do. And something that I've never wanted to do is create the same song twice. So with that, I have to think about, all right, sonically, how am I going to give this song a different texture, a different format, and for me, when I'm composing, it comes in the form of color. I think, all right, if this song is blue, how do I describe that? How do I play the violin in a way that that color will come across? How do I create some electronic beat or whatever it might be that will hopefully capture that color? Like for me, The Cry was purple. When I was creating The Cry, for me it was red, it was purple, it was this passion song. For me, La Toi, because it was electric, I saw a lot of pink, I saw a lot of blue, and that came across in the cover art and in the video. For Twisted Little Rainbows, it's sort of a hip-hop inspired alternative song, and I saw a lot of yellow, I saw a lot of rainbow colors as well, of course. And so that's kind of how I go about the whole color. When you dream of something, that's one thing, but then to see it actually fulfilled, and when you see it actually come to life, it's just a whole nother ball game, you know. And that's why I'm so happy that I met my director, Daphne Shimon, because even from our first phone conversation, she met me. As excited as I was, she was as excited or more excited. Meeting somebody like that, having the right partner, having the right person to not only understand your vision, but be able to capture that, It's been such a humbling experience. It's been such a roller coaster ride. I hope that my music will inspire, especially artists, when they're creating. I'm hoping that this EP will be something that artists can put on when they're directing, when they're painting, when they're drawing, or sketching, whatever it might be. I'm hoping that this will inspire them and be a part of their creating experience. I hope that people who have never heard the electric violin will hear it for the first time and hopefully be exposed to a new style. So I hope that people will take away this piece of me that I'm sharing with them. Hopefully it'll sound authentic, it'll feel authentic, hopefully it'll resonate with them, and hopefully it'll shed some hope in their life if that's what they need.